Coming up in today's video, we have some big news for AEW. Former WWE superstars are backstage. We also know that, it appears that somebody in AEW is getting a massive character change, and we are talking about another debut. So, a lot of things happening in AEW. I'm going to keep you guys updated along the way. Let's just jump right into it. Summer Rae was backstage on AEW Dynamite. A lot of people are talking about this. A lot of people are wondering what is happening with her in-ring career. Does she plan on returning? Will she come to AEW? And of course, I think this one is pretty easy to assume. That doesn't appear to actually be the case. I don't think Summer Rae is coming back to the ring. I don't think she's signing with AEW. Of course, when Renee Paquette posted this, a lot of people started talking about this as to whether or not we should expect her in the company or anything like that. Guys, it's pretty simple. She's just visiting her friend. And I think that is one thing that is really interesting. When you're just visiting your friend, people are going to speculate, obviously, especially when you're in pro wrestling. But nonetheless, Summer Rae, I think she was in a different era of pro wrestling. And I think because of that, a lot of people have some weird feedback for her in-ring ability. I personally thought Summer Rae was great when she was working with Fandango. But of course, with wrestling, especially back then, and it really even wasn't that long ago, but there wasn't this huge emphasis on women's wrestling. So with Summer Rae, I feel like, who really knows what her true abilities are? But of course, it is interesting to see kind of what happens next in this area because, AEW is signing people, and a lot of people are going to determine if it's good or bad based on who they sign, not based on the fact that they're actually signing people. But, AEW is working on that women's division. While I don't expect Summer Rae to be on there, I do expect to a certain extent that we might actually see her on television in some capacity, but not in a wrestling capacity. That would be the only thing I could think of. Otherwise, she is just visiting her friend. Guys, let's talk about Matt Hardy. Broken Matt Hardy. Guys, yes, we got to talk about Broken Matt Hardy because on Being the Elite, they're teasing it. They are teasing the arrival and the return of Broken Matt Hardy. And I don't know if AEW fans are going to be okay with this because, let's just be honest. AEW fans do not like sports entertainment. When Broken Matt Hardy was in AEW, we saw it during the pandemic era, which is unfortunate. Broken Matt Hardy was a really big hit, obviously with an impact in ROH. It got some sort of good feedback with WWE, but I do feel like WWE kind of dropped the ball with it too. With AEW, fans kind of rejected it right away, which was really strange, but now they're deciding to bring it back, and I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. Here's the thing, though. The reason why I bring this up is because Jeff Hardy. What is happening with Jeff Hardy? That is the multi-million-dollar question here, because Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy would be competing for tag team championship belts right now if Jeff Hardy wasn't away from TV. So when I bring you guys my analysis, when I'm talking about pro wrestling, I can't tell you that Broken Matt Hardy would or would not work in AEW because the pandemic era is not a really good era to pick from and to see whether something is working or not. There wasn't that many fans in attendance. It was a whole ordeal. Do I think Broken Matt Hardy would succeed in 2023? I don't know. Do I think Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy being the Hardy Boys, would they succeed in 2023? I think so. When you look at how AEW has such a great tag team division and their tag team wrestling matches are just awesome, the Hardy Boys make a lot of sense. Now, obviously, a lot of this stems from Jeff Hardy. What is happening with Jeff Hardy? Is Jeff Hardy going to be okay? We don't know exactly where he's at in his life right now. But if you just think for a second Jeff Hardy's completely healthy, he's learned his lessons with everything, you bring him back on TV with Matt Hardy, yeah, there probably is a good opportunity for AEW to make money off the Hardys, more money than AEW would make off of Broken Matt Hardy. That's what I think. Now, the plot twist to that is what if Matt Hardy is becoming Broken Matt Hardy, and then Jeff Hardy's return is imminent, and he comes back as Willow. I think at some point we have to see Willow on TBS. If we don't see it, I think it's going to be a really, 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 really shitty thing. And I think AEW fans might reject that too, but when I used to see Willow on TNA or when I used to see it on the indie scene, or when I used to see these videos pop up, you know, these fan creations of Willow versus Bray Wyatt and all of these different things. When I see this content, I'm thinking in my head, this right here could be really good for television. And I think some people will reject it, but truth is, I think that would be a really good way to have Broken Matt Hardy and Willow come together on AEW television with the sole purpose of putting over the younger talent. Guys like Top Flight, Private Party. 2 tag teams right there that could very well be the future of this company. It's just food for thought. Just think about it. Just consider it. Otherwise, we got to talk about the main event of the story. Guys, if you guys want more videos like this, by the way, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're super close to 50,000 subscribers. If we could hit 50K subs, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now let's talk about Willie Mack. He is set to compete against Brian Cage on AEW television. It's expected to happen at Rampage. And this really just comes from Tony Khan being a big fan of their match on Dark Elevation. For those who don't know, Willie Mack, huge standout in the indie wrestling world. Obviously, a lot of people are familiar with his work from Lucha Underground and more recently from Impact Wrestling. Now it's expected that Willie Mack could potentially be joining AEW in the near future. Tony Khan was a big fan of his match with Brian Cage, and, well, with Brian Cage needing to pick up a win before competing against Bryan Danielson, well, Willie Mack on Rampage makes a lot of sense. Guys, I think Tony Khan has been doing a wonderful job. I would say the middle of December to now, it's probably been the hottest streak of shows that AEW has ever had. But there's a reason for it. There's continuity. The things that I often complain about with AEW are literally being fixed before our eyes. And I've been pointing this out since middle of December. I feel like they've really picked up when it comes to storytelling on a weekly basis. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But as you guys know, when I talk about WWE, Raw, and SmackDown, they've been on a really good hot streak, but it's still not perfect. I'm not looking for perfect, guys. I think that's the big thing here is I'm not looking for a perfect wrestling television show, because if you're looking for perfect, you're probably just going to lose your mind waiting for it. But since middle of December, I see Tony Khan has done a really good job improving his product. And I would say that WWE in the last 6 months have done a really good job improving their product. And it makes me excited for the future of pro wrestling. Willie Mack is a great talent. I think if you haven't watched him, you need to watch him. This guy is entertaining. This guy is super good in the ring. This guy is awesome. He would be really good for AEW or ROH. He would be really good for NXT. There's a lot of great things that could come from Willie Mack. I want to know what you guys think in the comments section down below. I appreciate you all for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.